Hey guys, for everyone who knows me, I often talk about toxic metaframing. Toxic metaframing is when somebody's unhappy and they try to suppress the other person in their energy field. I have a lot of videos about this because there are four columns, four and a half columns, which completely change your life. The first is spiritual awakening. The second is libido empowerment. The third is understanding toxic metaframing. And the fourth is healing modalities. And the fifth is kind of knowing your soul plan. Because if you know your soul plan, you can relax into the soul plan. And I'm going to talk about something which is super important, especially for men, because it's not as relevant for women, but I'm gonna explain to you what I mean. So this is in relation to dating websites, and here's the problem. The thing is that I owned very large dating websites. I owned a website which was the largest South American dating website in the world. That was in, I don't know, 1990, 2000 or 2000 something. I don't remember. It's a long time ago. At that time, it only had 100,000 members, but at that time, it was still the largest South American dating website in Spanish. And I owned also other dating websites, so I know the industry. And what happens is usually that you have one woman and 10 men. For every one woman, you have 10 men on the platform. That goes for pretty much every platform. They might try to hide these numbers. They don't want to talk about it, but that's the real numbers. Sometimes it's even worse. And the thing is that the good women, when they get bombarded with certain messages and stuff, they will not stay on the app for long. Even if you had a special app like Tinder, which doesn't match you with everyone, only the people that you want. Once a good woman sees like 20 normal average men, she's like, no, she doesn't want to keep on swiping, because some of the men and their photos and stuff, I mean, no wonder. And so the only ones that are left are problematic women. There's two types of problematic women on these apps. One is the toxic woman. Okay, she's just in her character absolutely toxic. And the other is the ugly woman. And sometimes they go hand in hand. And what I learned being a model photographer for 4 years is that often the most beautiful women are actually also the least toxic, interesting enough. And sometimes the ugliest women are the most toxic ones. So in any case, I met with this woman and we talked just a very short while, and I was curious why. I wasn't interested in her, to be quite honest. I didn't find her attractive at all. She's not my type. I'm usually not the type that needs to go for the most beautiful women, but they need to be my type. Okay? And she's not my type at all. But I thought, okay, she doesn't live too far away. It would be interesting to hear what she has to say. Maybe, go out sometime as friends or whatever. And so I asked her, how come, you're living in France when you're actually born in South America? Okay. And I tell a little bit of my story, which was a little bit too soon maybe, but it's not a problem. I said that I'm changing my opinion about France. I came to France with very open-minded, loving the country, and now I'm starting to see a lot of its flaws, and I'm starting to backtrack a little bit on what I feel about France. So, and I told her that because I was curious also to see how she understands the culture. And then out of the blue, she says, I said that, my experience with doctors in France was that they were quite arrogant towards me. I mean, I'm their client, right? So, and anybody who knows me knows I'm super uncomplicated. But this woman, she doesn't know me at all. And she says out of the blue, she says, you seem to be arrogant yourself? And I ask her, do you mean like the face or the character? It was already a toxic metaframe, but I was like, okay. And she said she even had the guts to say both. And at that point, I blocked her. But before blocking her, toxic metaframes I always block. There's no space in my energy field for toxic metaframers. Those are unhappy people. And I but I felt there's two ways to deal with toxic metaframers constructively. One is to avoid them completely, which is the best way. Physically distance yourself from them, which on the internet is equal to blocking. Or what you can do is over toxic metaframe them, but that usually ends up in a fight. The thing is, I found that so off place that I actually told her, you're pretty ugly in my view, to be so to have the guts to tell me this, that I'm arrogant, and that that you're toxic, that this is a toxic metaframe in what you did, and that it's no wonder that you're single. And that was it for me. That's when she was blocked and that was done. But the importance of this conversation is understanding that most women in these apps, and when I say most women, I mean like 99.9999%. There's literally, if you're a normal guy trying to meet a normal woman in these apps, there's like literally zero chance nowadays. Zero chance, 0% chance. And it used to be different, I think, but now it's completely gone off the rails. And so you need to find a different way. And I think the best way, for me at least, that's what I'm feeling, is because Europe is Europe, okay? It's not gonna change. You can be lucky, okay, on the street or in some chorus or something like that, but it's highly unlikely. If you're like me, the best chance is literally to go to a country where, and this is something that is very clear to me now. You go to a country where from the start the woman looks at you, unless you're a completely fat fuck, that's something different, and you're super like ugly because you don't take care of yourself. But in general, you go to a country where a woman looks at you and kind of says, maybe even loud, he's cute, he's kind of cute, he's I kind of like him. And I give you an example. My YouTube channels, running so many YouTube channels in so many different countries in so many languages. The Spanish channel as well as the Japanese channel, sometimes also the Thai channel, I sometimes hear, oh, you're cute, you're sweet. And this is what you want to hear. And if you don't hear that, you're in the wrong country. It sounds harsh, but it is like that. You want to be in a country where you in any way, shape, or form are seen as, partially cute, at least. And that makes it a lot easier. Like, if I were to go to Japan, girls are like, oh, he's cute. Your experience is completely different. And I don't mean necessarily for finding a partner. We have to differentiate between the soul partner, kind of, which has the same or a similar or a supporting soul mission, meaning your soul mission, your soul plan, and the partner supports that soul plan consciously and unconsciously, because their soul plan matches that. That's the ideal partnership. But I'm talking also about libido empowerment, just feeling happy in your sacral chakra, that there is some form of attraction in the air. Because if you're in a country where everybody thinks like you're too small, you're not muscular enough, you're too arrogant, whatever, you're going to feel that as a man, and directly and indirectly, consciously and unconsciously, and that's going to suppress your sacral chakra, and you don't want that. That's why I'm probably finishing with Europe, even France. I'm even thinking of finding a sugar babe in Spain for a month or two, that travels with me. Not so much for the sexual part, but just to enjoy the libido empowerment energy, and then call it quits and leave Europe. That's kind of my plan, and I think that makes a lot of sense, because then I can say, okay, I did everything in Europe, tried everything, and that was it. Of course, I'm not the outgoing extroverted person, but a lot of men are not like that. A lot of women are like that, but the women are kind of like, I think they're biologically, they can handle it better if they don't have anyone in their life for a long time. I think for men it's more difficult, because of the biological just dynamics. Yeah, just wanted the guys to share that with you, because I know I'm 100% sure there's a lot of guys out there frustrated and not understanding that these apps are not good for you, and sleeping with these women is just inviting a lot of trouble. I think that's also why mgtow is so much coming along with a lot of men.